Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Not Content Podcast. My name is Jerome here for another YouTube exclusive as we are going to be discussing 2020's Happiest season, a movie that probably would have come out in theaters, but in 2020, of course, we were in the quarantine portion of the COVID pandemic. So this was a movie that was released on Hulu, and it definitely got some good capital D discourse going about the role of queer comedies, especially because we are always in the midst during the Christmas season. Hallmark and Great Family Channel and God knows who else releasing all these dramas and romantic comedies and all this bullshit. And here is a movie that is trying to be a little bit more than that. We have Clea Duvall, who is I probably know her best as one of the performers in The Faculty, and also as an actor in But I'm a Cheerleader, which is also a very important queer movie as well. But we're going to talk about Happiest Season, and I thought it would be very interesting to pair this with Carol, because Carol is literally a movie that takes place in the 1950s about forbidden love. And here we have a movie that is apparently taking place in current times, but the reality is that we still have a character that is still in the closet. Brian, I am so curious to know your thoughts on this. Like Carol, I knew that even if you didn't love it, I knew there'd be a lot to embrace about it. Happiest Season is very different, and I wanted you to watch Carol first for a reason. Do you understand why I asked you to do that after watching both?
Similar vibe, just contrast in styles, tone. The attempted comedy, right? Is that the what you're getting at? Or is
And
there some other deep connection?
yes, we are. And Attempt is doing a lot of work in that sentence, because I have to say this is a movie that I enjoyed first time watching. Watching this a second time, I noticed a lot more faults.
Okay, so I still enjoyed it, even though I noticed a big fault at the beginning of the movie. But once it turned into the drama part, it got way better. I think the last 20, 30 minutes are like the best part of the movie. That's when all the acting gets, everyone steps their game up in terms of the acting. I think that
Again,
scene,
you have a great cast that it feels like is getting wasted
right.
of the movie, except for
The
Kristen
thing, the,
Stewart.
See, the thing with Kristen Stewart is that she's not funny. That's the problem. And I don't think she's a comedic actor, and they wanted this comedic performance at the beginning.
I
So,
don't think that they wanted that character. I think she is meant to be the serious character. If
but the
you were
thing
to
is,
tell
they're
me,
giving her lines to like have one-liners and stuff, and I was like, oh
I
no.
I don't I don't think that the intent. I think she pretty much is carrying the movie. I think that in terms of her character is clearly the most sympathetic. Her character is the only one not acting like like a sitcom character, and I think maybe we're just seeing the movie differently because of our sensibilities. But I mean, to me, I think Kristen Stewart absolutely is the best performance in this movie. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have knocked this down to like a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. I think she makes that much of a difference.
I think she's great at the second half once it turns dramatic, but I think those lines at the beginning where they were trying to make it like this comedy holiday feel, I don't think she like just understood like the comedic tone. I don't know if she
For
doesn't
being a
understand.
romantic comedy, the comedy isn't very good.
Well, I
Problem.
think it does. It has good moments towards the end. Like I said, I think that Christmas scene at the end where that gift exchange that goes wrong with the painting at the end, that was some really good stuff. I thought like that was a really well put together, full circle kind of moment for all the characters, and I thought it was really well done. Um, but I just felt like the beginning took a little rocky
I mean, to
start to
me,
begin with.
when you cast Kristen Stewart and Aubrey Plaza, you are begging for a movie that's weird, and this movie is not weird at all. And it really feels like this movie needed to lean into the weirdness more. And I think that is all the more pronounced with Mackenzie Davis, who I really like in a lot of things. I think she is wonderful in *Halt and Catch Fire*. That's a show that Kevin Ford and I have discussed. I think she's really great in Station 11, the HBO Max streaming series. I think she's great in that. I really like her in Terminator and Blade Runner. But I mean, starting with the wig game, and I don't know why I've become this person, but the wig game in this movie is just awful. And her character just consistently gaslighting and making very poor decisions. It really bothered me. And I don't think, and I think it hampered, I think the writing is so bad that it hurts her performance too.
Okay, so I have similar feelings about the character. I do think she kind of got her redemption arc towards the end, but I have similar feelings about like James Stewart in Rear Window, where it's like you don't deserve her, right? Because like my thing about Rear Window is that he does not deserve what's her name? I forget the
Grace
actress's
Kelly.
name. Grace Kelly. She is so in love with him and she does everything for him and he just like is so focused on other things. Like he clearly doesn't deserve her. And then by the time you get halfway through this movie and you realize what she did to Aubrey Plaza, I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't really deserve her at all. And that's the end of this movie, and they're just gonna break up. And I thought that was like the ending. And then they did the happy ending, obviously. But like I was like, wow, this is like a really adult conversation going on right now with
I
her and Aubrey
guarantee you
Plaza.
there has been a lot of fan fiction about Aubrey Plaza and Kristen Stewart getting together in the end. And I think that's what a lot of people wanted. And especially on second viewing, it's really hard to disagree.
Yeah, I thought of it too, man. I kind of thought of it because they were leaning towards it. It's like I'm gonna get you a stronger drink, and they had more had like a click kind of vibe, and they were actually like clicking at the party and stuff, and you know what I mean. I thought like, wow, that's more of the natural couple right there. I don't know if they should have switched parts. If Audrey Plaza should have played the main part, and then you get that kind of weirdness out of the performance. But talking about the wig
Man,
game,
you have just brought up a very intriguing. Like, what if Mackenzie Davis and Aubrey Plaza switch roles? I think that makes this movie. I think that movie makes the movie a lot better.
yeah, because they got more
I really
chemistry.
do.
Yeah, because I mean, clearly they got the better chemistry when they're at the mall together, when they're shopping together, and they're at the gay bar together. Like they clearly had that vibe, and I can see why like Aubrey Plaza got like future gay roles because she plays these roles really well. And I don't know if it's like is she bi or whatever, but she clearly like understands these roles clearly and gets respect out of the performance and gives respect to the performances. Because she did another Coen Brother movie, right, where she plays another lesbian character, and she did well in that too, right? I forget the title of the
Yes,
movie. I saw that
yes,
crime one. I forget the name, but she played like a security
that
guard.
wasn't very great.
She was good
Um,
in it, but yeah.
I mean, Aubrey Plaza is generally good in everything. But yeah, I think she's good in this movie too. I think in a supporting role that has like 15 minutes of screen time, I think she absolutely outshines most of the other performers. So something I specifically want to cover, we have to talk about the political element of it because there is an obsession in movie and TV shows, especially in the United States, of not mentioning the political party, even though the first thing that would come up is the political party. And you see it so much in shows and movies where there's either a politician or a race of some sort, and they refuse to acknowledge what political party they belong to. And the problem in this movie, you have to acknowledge it. And I'm going to tell you why, because there is a huge difference. If Victor Garber's character is intended to be a Democrat, then Mackenzie Davis's sexuality doesn't matter at all. If he's running as a Republican, there's literally no way that he could run because her queerness would come out one way or the other. Like, there's no way that that could be hidden. It would be more plausible if he was a Republican, but he is also, and I don't buy the fact that in one night, like, unless he was actually visited by three ghosts and that's unseen from the movie, like, he's not going to all of a sudden just change his mind and not run. And maybe it's different because it's local politics. Like, clearly, he's not running to be the senator; he's running to be the mayor of whatever small town this is. So maybe it's a little bit different. But the politics just really bothers me too.
Well, I can dig deeper into that if you want to go deeper. Because okay, at the beginning of this movie, they're at Santa Claus or not Santa Claus, and Candy Cane Lane, which is not necessarily a single city. It's like multiple cities across the United States that do the whole, you know, lights to the sky and see it from space kind of gimmick, right? During Christmas. There's one near us. It's Woodland Hills. I'm like 5 minutes away. I've been there a couple times throughout the years. It's really beautiful. So if this takes place in Woodland, or if that took place in Woodland Hills, let's assume, right? I guess does that mean if they're going away for the holidays, they're going further up north? Is that like a like Big Bear kind of area, right? In California, something like that with snow. So my assumption is it's one of those Central California Republican areas, right? That tend to vote crazy here in California. I'm not going to lie about it. That's kind of that was my theory as to like where this takes place, like somewhere in California. That cause it goes from like Woodland Hills to like, and they go drive up somewhere where it snows in California. That's my interpretation of it because that would make more sense if you want to dive deeper into this. Because, but in terms of logistics, like yeah, if they're Woodland Hills and they got like family up north where it's snowing, you're going to go more central towards north of California.
So the movie is basically it takes place in Pittsburgh. So the movie was shot a lot in Vancouver, but apparently the intention was for it to take place in Pennsylvania.
Well, see, a person from LA would just automatically assume, oh, Candy Cane Lane, that's Woodland Hills. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a thing here in
You're
LA.
right,
Like,
but
because like
I
Candy,
mean,
whenever I hear Candy Cane Lane, I automatically assume it's just Woodland Hills, and then you have to look it up. It's like, oh, there's one in St. Louis, there's one in other places,
right?
but
Yeah,
if
I
you're
mean
in Hollywood, you're gonna
it's
think that.
a lot of strange choices are being made here. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? So again, this
Oh,
movie
the
was
Urkel
released.
effect. There's an Urkel effect in this. Did you notice?
Explain the Urkel.
Okay, so as you know, Family Matters started out without Urkel, and then Urkel came as like a side character, and then kind of took over the show. Daniel Levy, my goodness, I was like hoping that he would eventually meet the family, and then when he came in the last 20 minutes and hung out with the family, I was smiling because this dude is such a good comedic actor, and he just
He's really
brings like
good.
he brings the comedy out of people you wouldn't like think would have comedy in them, right? Like he just brings it out. I think he's one of those natural comedic actors that just makes comedy better in whatever scene he's in. And he made that scene with the
He's
family
very
better.
different from his. And the thing that's funny is that he's very different from his father.
Right. And not only that, he gives the most prolific speech in this whole movie about coming out and how different of a story it is for everyone else. And I thought, God, what a poignant moment, you know, and like what a, like a smart moment to have in this movie at the right time.
That is a scene that elevates this movie, I think, from being something that could easily be disposed into something a little bit better. Like I think that's probably the best scene.
Right. And I think that, again, it's the Urkel effect because this dude clearly elevated that scene and the scene afterward.
I
And
mean,
then it
not
turns
only is
out,
he a writer himself, but like you got to imagine, like think about he's coming right off of Schitt's Creek. Like it doesn't get any like he is white hot at this point, and you can definitely see why he's been as successful as he is because Schitt's Creek really took off during the pandemic, and having this role right after that. I mean, certainly he benefited tremendously.
and I do love the fact that he clicked with the other sister, not in like a romantic way, but like in like a writer creative partnership way, which I thought was great because they ended up being successful together a year later, which I was like, wow, like they brought the creative side out of each other and became
Well, it's
this
funny
like
you say
creative
that
partnership.
because Barry Holland is the actor who played Kane, was the person who co-wrote this movie.
Perfect. Perfect. See what I'm saying? Like full circle moments. So I think this script does have good moments. I just think that like Kristen Stewart like needed to be funnier at the beginning. Other than that, I think everything was good. I think Victor
I
Garber might have been his cast though, because he's not funny at all in this. Like I think the dad needed to be like stupid kind of
he
funny.
I like Victor Garber in a lot of things. This did not seem to suit him at all. I
I
don't
would have gone with the guy from Coach. I always forget his name. He's the dad in The
Frankie
Incredibles.
Nelson
Yeah, exactly who I think should have been in this role.
or an Ed Begley Jr. or
Or
somebody like
why not even get Ted Danson, right? Because like then you got that natural chemistry, right? Because they're married
that.
with
Right.
Mary
Yeah.
Steinberg. So.
I think that's a really good point. Like, because I couldn't help but think of the Birdcage, which I think has a lot of similarities to Happiest Season. And I think about like how good Gene Hackman is in that movie, and it's because he's just able to balance the comedy and the seriousness so well. I don't know. Like again, I do like Victor Garber in some things, but this was not the best role for him. I feel.
Yeah, and we've seen him on like he's done comedy, right? And like the CW roles, we've seen him in back in the day or whatever. But it just I don't know, something didn't click with this role because I think this role's supposed
Yeah.
to be a little more dumb serious. And by dumb serious, I mean the guy's super serious about his politics, but acts dumb in natural settings, kind of thing, which we've seen before as like a trope about politicians, right? So I think that would have fit more in this case. But I gotta say, like overall, I don't know if this is like Clea Duvall's first directorial movie. Like I gotta look that up really
Well,
quick.
I
But
mean, I think that some of the interesting like, are they going for like he's supposed to be Joe Biden? Is like that what they're going for?
oh yeah, that's the other question, right? It's like what kind of politician? I guess it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Because you definitely see a lot of that. I mean,
Maybe
look,
he's like Jesse Ventura and goes independent and just randomly wins a mayor election and then goes from there. So which has happened. It's
uh,
happened.
Clea Duvall has definitely directed a bunch of stuff. So she
Okay,
is
because I when
definitely
I as soon as I saw that
well.
name, I was like, I think I've seen that name. I think she's like the actress from The Faculty, and I looked up. I was like, oh yeah, she's got a lot of like acting credits under her name, and she's got a lot of experience in Hollywood. I think being a lesbian herself and going through a lot of these things, right? Like, I think she was just like a spot on director, like almost like Amy Heckerling, the way I like her directing.
Yeah.
Similar kind of vibes in terms of like taking like a gay comedy like this and making it actually like funny and like relatable and like having a good casting, somewhat of a good script. I didn't like the way they treated the children though. I thought that was a little off because like, wow, they made the kids the shitty people in the movie in a Christmas movie. I was like, wow, that's a choice. And then they didn't get their comeuppance. I wanted their ass to be beaten for what they did, but
I mean,
they
really,
deserve to be spanked.
I don't know. The kid thing is really strange because like that whole Allison Brie component of it, like of course Allison Brie is the perfect person to cast in that role, but again, it feels very underbaked.
Well, we're so used to seeing her in bigger roles. That was the other thing too I noticed. I was like, wow, she took a small role in this movie, and I was like, this doesn't seem like an Alison Brie type role that we were used to. So I was kind of like
I
taken
mean,
aback by it.
she is very prolific at playing this type of character, the very high strung overachiever. Like she does it all the
Yeah,
time.
and she doesn't. She's not in the movie much, but I'm just so used to her being like the lead of a movie or a show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it was just kind of taken aback by it. But credit to her for like doing the role. So it probably didn't take her that
some weird
long. Probably took
choices
her like a
along
week.
the way. So look, to me, this is a movie that ultimately I think is successful in a couple of ways. I think Kristen Stewart, I think her performance is worth seeing. I think there is enough good stuff in this movie. There are enough good scenes, and I know I've been very critical of this movie, and a lot of it is because I think Mackenzie Davis's character is just written to be such a bad person, and so much gaslighting going on. Like it's a lot to overcome. But again, I think that part of the thing is that I think some of the pressure is taken off because of this being a streaming movie as opposed to being a theatrical release. Like in some ways, I think it actually benefits this movie to have come out when it did, as opposed to coming out a year or two later. Although it is unfortunate that we don't have these kind of holiday romantic comedies, or really a lot of Christmas movies coming out theatrically. It seems like you get maybe one or two a year, and they're not like they're either for specifically for kids or what have you. So we need to try to make more good Christmas movies. I think that's the ultimate thesis of this month of the podcast.
My supporting, I don't know, thesis argument is that they need to be played more on TV. I think we're playing a lot of the old stuff so many times on TV
My
now. It's
God,
like
it
I
is
it's
it
it's
is
very
insane.
repetitive. So and it's weird. It's like I guess they just kind of max out around 2007, 2008 with like they're showing the Fred
It
Claus
feels like
now.
2003. It feels like maybe 2003. It feels like it's that Love Actually, Bad Santa, Elf year.
Yeah, yeah. Fred Claus is kind of the max because that was 2007.
Yeah,
I think that was the
and
same year as
Santa
Santa
Claus
Claus
3 gets
3.
played all the time, and that's just after as well.
Yeah,
Like the
so
Grinch, like it's funny because the Grinch, which came out in 2018, is getting a ton of play right now. So that's the only one, but I feel like that gets grandfathered in because it's the Grinch.
right, and it's the name value and stuff, especially now with the Walter Goggins Walmart commercials, which I think are genius because it makes me want to see a Walter Goggins live action movie as the Grinch. But you never know. There's been rumors about Jim Carrey coming back, but yeah, in terms of like
Why?
I don't know, I money. But in terms of this movie, I really enjoyed it towards the end. I thought it started out rough, but it picked up really well, and I thought it ended really well. I think Aubrey Plaza kind of elevated the movie as soon as she came in. Like she has this presence on screen. Not to mention that I've had a crush on her since I saw her at the Whole Foods in 2012. So I'll always remember that moment. And yeah, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. I think this is going to grow on me maybe over time. Maybe I can kind of look past that Kristen Stewart stuff. And I'm not saying she's a bad actress or anything. I think she's a great actress. It's just she's not a comedic actor. I feel, and that's
It
not her
almost feels
fault.
like at times she's in a different movie than the other people. Is
Right.
my
And it's,
part.
yeah. But once it gets to the dramatic stuff, it's like, here we go. Like, this is why you
Yeah,
casted her.
that's why you cast
So,
Kristen.
yeah, for sure.
All right, so Brian, what are we doing next week?
So, I guess it is the end of the year, and I looked at celebrity birthdays, and one came up that was really important to us, and it's the Val Kilmer's birthday on December 31st, and of course, he passed away this year. Very unfortunate. We're big fans of his. We've never even like probably both of us have never seen all of his work, but we just we're such a big fan of his that we know of his entire body of work almost at this point. So we wanted to honor him with a double feature, and I decided to pick his early comedy, Top Secret, because that's kind of like the forgotten Zucker Brothers movie that was in between Airplane and Naked Gun. But I guess it's so funny that people kind of forgot about it because it's not played on TV as much. And of course, we're going to watch Tombstone because I'm your Huckleberry, because that's one of those quotable lines from the movie. I guess Kurt Russell's gone on record saying recently that he thinks that Tombstone has become one of the all-time great westerns because of the quotability factor,
It's unbelievable.
which
It's
I
so
agree with.
good. I watched so many westerns this year. Tombstone being one of them. Shortly after Val Kilmer died, actually, and it's tremendous.
For sure. And I'm not even seen it completely. I've always watched it out of order in TV, but I'm always hooked in for like every 30 minutes or so. Like I get sucked in. So it's really great. And I've never actually seen it in order. So this is gonna be interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun double feature. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama, and we get to honor the man himself. Iceman, if you want to call him. But December 31st is his birthday, so you'll probably see a lot of articles kind of pop up around next week when we talk about him. So I think it would
For
be a
sure.
nice
And
way to tribute to his honor.
you should fully expect February to be Rob Reiner month because Rob Reiner unfortunately left us. I don't even want to get into the reasons
Oh,
why.
I know. It's fucking
We will probably be doing
tragic
Rob Reiner. We'll be honoring Rob Reiner in the month of February.
for sure. And Joe Dante month is coming for January. I haven't finalized all the details yet. All I know is that we're going to start with Small Soldiers because Small Soldiers obviously kind of fits the bill of like the right match. I just haven't chosen whether it's a Survivor Series match or a War Games match yet. I'm kind of leaning towards the 2001 Survivor Series match because that actually
Oh
has that
God.
speech. Because of the speech of Freddie Blassie. I don't know if you've seen that speech, but
Yes, I
man,
of course.
but that does kind of fit the bill with Small Soldiers, which we'll get into. But we'll talk about other Joe Dante stuff as well. I'll kind of reveal it later. But I will say that the main event of January is going to be the Burbs, only because we kind of hyped it up for the last couple of years in terms of like whenever we talk about 1989, I always bring up the Burbs as the prime example of the writer's strike and what affected movies in 1989. So that's to come in the podcast coming.
All right, for Brian and Jerome, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you again next week.